What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So today is May 14th. I'm pretty sure, yeah, May 14th, and we are talking about English fluency today. This is going to be our last English fluency lesson. If you remember that we started these YouTube live videos to help support you during this time of crisis. A lot of people are at home. You're not in control of the news, not in control of all this craziness around you in the world, but you are in control of your mind and how you spend your time. So we figured we'd give some lessons out for free. And we're going to keep doing that till the end of May, but this will be the last English fluency lesson. So this is about how to speak about your opinion. So the goal for us together right now is to learn about how to express yourself and speak longer and more comfortably and naturally about your own feelings. So I'm excited to do this, and so let's get into it. And let me start by introducing myself. So my name's Josh. I have a lot of experience teaching TOEFL and the English language in general. And in my free time, I like to write articles and make videos about TOEFL and about speaking English. And our goals today, these are our lesson goals. They are to utilize speaking recording software to record, expand, and analyze your speaking, and to discover 4 specific ways of thinking to help expand your response to simple and complex questions. So this is kind of, let me say it basically. Basically, you're going to learn how to record your voice and analyze it, and you're also going to learn how to speak in a way that is more interesting. So probably right now, when you are, let me say the problem really quickly. Right now, probably when I ask you a question like, "How was your weekend?" Good. What'd you do? Sleep. Who did you sleep with? Nobody. Like that's kind of the questions I usually ask and get answered in class. Those are the answers. So we want to expand those a little bit. All right. So, A Better Accent in 60 Days, our accent builder program, is available right now at tstprep.com. And if you'd like to know more about your accent, check out John, one of our new teachers. He is doing accent evaluations for just $9. This is coming to an end. So at the end of May, this will be all done. So it's an incredible deal that we hardly ever do because we actually we actually lose money by doing this, but we want to support you guys. So please check it out. You can get an accent evaluation with John, and he can help you with everything that you need. All right, and that's at tstprep.com. Now, the first thing I want to say is that you need to record your voice. So what other people hear is what matters, not what you want to hear. Now, this is really hard because recording your voice can be a little scary, and it could be a little, I don't know, disappointing. The voice you hear is not what other people hear. Okay, so I used to think I had a very deep, strong, masculine voice, and then I recorded my voice, and I was like, oh man, who is this person? I really didn't. I really had no idea I spoke the way that other people hear me, and so it was very weird to hear, and it's hard to get used to, and I still struggle with this. Um, okay, so that's about me. So you will struggle as well. And so I want you to keep that in mind. It's going to be a struggle, but at the same time, if you're listening to me right now talking, that means you're at an advanced level of English and you're trying to get to that next level. So you're really motivated. You could be doing so many things right now, but you're studying for the TOEFL. Well, you're not studying. You could be studying for the TOEFL, but you're studying about the English language here and trying to improve your English fluency. That's a big deal. You could be watching cat videos. You could be doing so many other things that are more entertaining, but you're sacrificing your time here to learn something. So push yourself to that next level. Record your voice, and that way you can keep improving and keep growing as an English speaker. Now, when you speak, I'm going to ask you a question, and then I want you to give me your response. So basically, I ask something like, where are you from? Or what's your favorite kind of food? Very simple questions, but I want you to give long answers to these questions. And what do I mean by long answers? I mean an answer about 30 seconds at least, more like 60 seconds, so about a minute. So when I ask you, what do you like to do in your free time? You say, I like movies. I like to watch movies. You need to say that for 30 seconds or 60 seconds, much longer. What do you like to do in your free time? This is going to expand your vocabulary and help you build your skills. At first, in week one, let's say this is part of our program that when we start in week one, I ask you, what do you like to do in your free time? And I give you 1 minute to prepare because I want you to speak for 30 seconds. It takes a long time, so you have to think about everything you're going to say. But after working together for a couple months in our Accent Builder program, I ask you a question, what do you like to do in your free time? And you have to answer immediately. And you have to answer for 30 seconds at least. So this is about expanding our answers. It's about building your fluency. And that's by expanding your answers and speaking for a longer amount of time. All right. So there are 4 methods to help you expand your answers to simple questions. What do you like to do in your free time? I like to play sports. 2 seconds, right? I want you to say that for 30 seconds. How are you going to do that? I ask you, where are you from? I'm from New York. 1 second. I need you to say that for 30 seconds. Expand your responses. Imagine you are a ant that talks too much. I have an aunt that talks quite a bit. So imagine you're somebody who asks a simple question, they just talk, 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 talk. I know that's not your character. I know maybe you don't feel like that's your personality, but for building a language, you want to try to expand on your responses. All right, so how are we going to do that? 4 methods. The first method is WH questions. Questions about an experience. So what did you do last weekend? Who, what, when, where, why, how. So let me explain this. When somebody asks you about your experience, about what you did last week, then you want to think about answering these questions. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. This isn't so great for like, where are you from? Doesn't really work. But when you had an experience, something in the past, you had a story. And that story involves people, places, a time, location, why it happened, and maybe how it happened. So when you have an experience in the past, think about answering these questions when you're talking about it. Here's an example that I'll read where it says, where did you go on your last vacation? So my last vacation was to Costa Rica. Now some students finish there. That's it. My last vacation was to Costa Rica. But I want you to expand on it. We have some who, what, and so on. So let me keep going. And while I did work a little, I had a lot of free time and we did a ton of the, usual tourist activities. For example, one of my favorite days was when we went swimming in a local spot in a river. Then we went out to dinner at a restaurant on a mountain and the view was just amazing. I will always remember that day. Costa Rica is a great vacation spot because the weather's fantastic no matter where you go and there's just always something to do. Now this is a little bit, it's trying to sound natural, a little bit unnatural. People don't usually speak this way, but you get the point of trying to expand your response by explaining who did you go with. We went swimming. I don't think they said who they went swimming with. No, it just said we. But they could have added a line there about family. It said what they did. They went swimming in a local spot and a dinner. Went swimming in a local spot. Went to dinner. The view was amazing. And how was the weather? It was fantastic. So answering a lot of questions here. So you want to do that when you're given a simple question. Expand on your answer. Try to give more details and things about it, especially when you're talking about your experiences. When I ask you about, let's say, your hobby, that's not going to have who, what, where, when, why. That'll be a little different. All right, so method number 2 of expanding your answer is to give reasons and elaborate. So when you get questions about your opinion, what do you think about your hometown? Give reasons and explain your reasons more, maybe with an example. We often recommend that students explain their opinions with reasons and examples to help build their fluency. Let's look at an example here. Do you like your job? This is pretty simple. Do you like your job? Yes, I do. No, I don't. That's it. Do you like your school? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Very short, simple answers. 1 second. We want to try to expand them. And you can expand them by giving reasons. Because. And then you explain. Maybe giving an example. I don't like my school because, for example. Let's look at this example here. Do you like your job? To be honest, I love my job. Excuse me. To be honest, I love my job. I really enjoy teaching and I love language. So I get the best of both worlds by teaching English. I've had a bunch of lessons with students when I see that little light bulb go off in their head and they finally understand something. I live for those moments. And it feels amazing when students thank me for explaining a confusing rule in a clear and simple way that they can understand. Creating a learning environment where students can explore and discover new things about themselves and about the world just brings me so much joy. So, yeah, clearly I love what I do for a living. Um, this is nice. I didn't write this. I like what I do, but I didn't like this. I didn't write this. But she's explaining this with reasons. Okay, that the little light bulb goes off in their head. She could have given an example. Like I remember working with one student named Juan, and we worked together for 6 months. And she could have done that kind of example as well to help explain why she loves teaching. But this is a great example as well. It's just not very specific. So she's giving a reason and explaining it. So you don't want to give these short answers. Stop doing that. Stop sitting in your English class giving those short answers. Explain and expand to help improve your fluency. All right, the next method number 3, reasons and stories. So this gets closer to what I was saying about a personal example. So here in this example, she's elaborating, she's explaining her reason in more detail. Why does she like her job? She loves teaching and loves language, so she gets both of them. She had a bunch of lessons with students. She sees the light bulbs. She lives for those moments. It feels amazing. And she likes creating a learning environment. So she likes all this stuff and explaining it and why she likes it. Here, she might do something a little different and give an example. So let's see here. Stories. What kind of movies do you like to watch? For me, the best kinds of movies to watch are fantasy movies based on books. When I was a kid, my grandmother took me to see the first Harry Potter movie. Oh, I was so upset. We were late for the show and we missed the first 20 minutes. After the film, I was in love with the story, but I wanted to know what I had missed in the beginning. My grandmother took me across the street to a bookstore and bought me the book. Turns out, I love the book even more. Ever since then, I've always been drawn to movies that are based on books, but now I always read the book before I see the movie. So, what kind of movies do you like to watch? I like to watch movies based on books. Interesting answer. Why? Well, when I was a kid, I went to see Harry Potter. Da, 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 da. So, you have a story to help explain why you feel the way that you do. And again, this is good for talking about your opinion on a certain situation. So, you want to give reasons and examples to help explain things. I don't do it enough in teaching, but human beings are drawn to stories. And we like stories. We are just story-driven mammals. That's what we like. And so when you teach and when you try to tell somebody something, they learn a lot more through story. So you want to try to have a story when you're telling them how you feel. People will understand you more, understand how you feel about something more when you tell a story. What kind of movies do you like? I like to watch movies based on books. Oh, okay, why? I don't know. I just kind of like it. Or why do you like movies based on books? Oh, I don't know. I like reading books and I like watching movies. Not if I'm the listener, I don't really understand you as a human being more. You tell me a story and I get a deeper level of empathy and I understand you a lot better. So use stories, they're very powerful. Last method here, contrasting points. So again, this is about expanding your answers, giving longer answers to simple questions. So you can do this for any question type and especially advantages and disadvantages. And you could use words like but, however, even though, or on the other hand. Really simple. So let's go back to this example of movies. What kind of movies do you like? I really like movies based on books, but I usually prefer to read, to be honest. The book is always better than the movie. I remember, and then you can give an example like that. Or let's say that would you prefer to live on the beach or in the mountains? Oh, I definitely prefer to live on the beach. In the mountains, it's cold, it's isolated, there's not a lot of people there. I mean, the beach might be isolated, but at least it's probably not cold. And I can swim and I can do a lot of water activities. So that is much better for me. So you see how I talked about what the mountain would be like and the beach. So that's contrasting points. Let's look at this example here. What type of animal do you think is the best pet? In my opinion, cats make the best pets because they're the most low maintenance of pets. I had a cat when I first moved into my own apartment. My roommate had a dog, and she was very limited in what she could do in her social life. With a dog, she had to always, just ignore that dash, she had to always rush home after work to let the dog out. So look, she's talking about the dog. She's giving an example of her friend who had a dog. She doesn't, personally speaking for this girl, the person who wrote this, she doesn't like dogs, or she thinks cats are better to own than dogs. And she's explaining why, and she's talking about dogs, the contrasting point. And then she talks about cats. However, cats use litter boxes that don't even have to be changed every day. My roommate also had to feed her dog twice a day, so when she wanted to go away, she would have to find someone to watch her dog. But with my cat, Raven, I could leave some dry food out for her, and she would slowly eat the food over several days. So just talking about her cat and how it was more low maintenance than the other dog, comparing her cat to the dog. So that's an easy way to expand your answer to show a contrasting point there. All right, so try not to write out your entire response and read it unless you feel it is necessary. So when you start actually practicing this skill, if you're in an accent builder course with us, or if you're just doing it at home, we usually, how we work with students is that each day we give them a question and we work through the question. When you are starting, you want to write out your response a bit so you can kind of have an idea of what you want to say. As you keep going and you keep progressing, you want to try to make it more natural and speak more spontaneously as you keep moving forward. So that's the goal, really. At first, you're trying to expand your answer, use contrasting points, use examples, use stories, give reasons, and you could write them out. But then later, try to speak more naturally with just writing down a few notes or just keeping everything in your head. It'll become more natural as you continue to practice. All right, so hopefully by now I feel like you've achieved your lesson goals to utilize the speaking recording software. I use my iPhone, anything will do to expand and analyze your speaking. Really important to listen back to your speaking. And you discover the 4 ways to expand your response. And again, that is, let's see here, how do you expand your response? You do contrasting points, with the last one we just talked about, reasons and stories, reasons and elaboration. And the first one is, why am I blanking on it? Oh no. Anyway, hopefully you remember what it is. And again, you could do an accent evaluation with John for just $9. That's available to the end of May. And yeah, but anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. And yeah, let us know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, take care, guys.